Disappointing that it conceded 3.
Robbie, I know you got your hopes up there. Had one eye on that game there. The referee spent an age looking at the monitor, a good couple of minutes there. Then he awarded the penalty. How much did you get your hopes up?
Yeah, listen, Leicester can't blame Pekard for them not going through. You know, this was the opportunity here. That was the penalty. It went to VAR, you know, but the keeper makes a save. But Leicester have missed so many opportunities in this group, Lindsay. You know, 2-0 at home to Napoli, 2-2. The Vardy missed penalty at home in the draw against Spartak. You know, 2-2 here, created numerous chances. So, OK, Pekard, if he scores that, would have rescued Leicester, but they've only got themselves to blame. You know, that group there, you know, Leicester, I believe, are overachieved for a number of years, but that today, they should be going through in that group. Let's be fair, Legia and Spartak Moscow, not to come third in that group, and now Europa Conference League, you know, that's not good. That's not good enough from that group.
Yeah.
You know, we always praise Leicester, and they've done remarkably well. I'm sure Emile will agree. But to finish third in that group with the chances and opportunity they've had is not good enough.
Well, this is how the group has concluded. Leicester, as well, remember, started the evening in top position. They finished in third. Spartak are through to the last 16 as group leaders, and it's Napoli heading through as runners-up there. Napoli preserving their record of never failing to qualify from a Europa League group, and it will be a Conference League playoff for Leicester in February. And they can't face Tottenham in that one, but they do face a 2-legged playoff. So another 2 games that they don't need as well.
Yeah, and especially in a season that is probably not going to plan as well, where you're sitting half mid-table and having been in the previous seasons really chasing the Champions League spots. So they'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah, we'll look back on the Leicester performance in just a few moments as well. Leicester lost 3-2 in Napoli, but came so close to still going through. Pekard had a penalty save for Legia in the 8th minute of stoppage time, a goal which would have kept Leicester in the Europa League. Spartak Moscow, though, won the game 1-0. They go through as group winners, and Napoli as runners-up. Emile and Robbie watching with me. Has that dramatic ending sunk in? Emile, can you just sum that up?
Just about, yeah. The roller coaster ride of going 2-0 down, coming back again to 2-2, thinking that you're on the ascendance and then conceding the goal. Yeah, and not just that, they created quite a few chances, and you're thinking, yeah, go on, get that last goal, go and get that final goal that's gonna take you through, and it just wasn't to be.
Those Leicester players probably had no idea, Robbie, just how close they were to getting a reprieve, to staying in the Europa League.
No, I'm not sure it was a Man City, Man United moment when Man United were up at Middlesbrough when Aguero scored the last minute, but it was still a moment where, you know, Pekard could have saved, you know, Leicester City from the penalty spot, but it wasn't to be. But they've only got themselves to blame, Lindsay, in this group campaign. But if Pekard scores, Leicester would have finished, you know, second place and then, you know, still in the Europa League, but now not to be.
They started the night top of the group, though. They were joint favourites at the beginning of this competition. Does it have to be seen as a big failure for Leicester to not stay in the Europa League? Disappointment.
I wouldn't say big failure, huge failure. I'd say disappointment, because again, when we looked at the group, we picked Napoli and Leicester to be going through, and it's just a big disappointment in a sense of they haven't really capitalised on the moments that they've had. The penalty miss, what Robbie was talking about, going 2-0 up at home against Napoli and seeing out a game. They haven't really been able to capitalise on that.
They fought back from 2-0 down. You felt the momentum was with them, but the second half started in the same manner as the first, didn't it? And then Napoli got the winning goal. Yeah, as Maka said in commentary, once again, it come down Leicester's left-hand side. You know, it was Elmas with the goal, but the run here and to squeeze that ball through 4 Leicester players. You know, Castagna, his starting position was good. Does he need to get attracted, you know, inside? You know, he looks over his shoulder on a couple of occasions to see where Elmas is. And then that ball to take out the 4 Leicester players, you know, I just think, can they defend that better? They're in good positions, but then you see Castagna just got sucked in there and the finish with Schmeichel, no chance. But, you know, as Emile was saying, you know, it was a good start to the second half on both sides, almost like the first, but that inevitably was the winning goal. That's not Leicester City out of the competition. the defending costing them again, as we've said so many times already this season.
One of the things that we always speak about is can you stop it from source? And stopping it from source is tracking the runners and not allowing that crossing. Once you stop that, everything else stops, doesn't it? But once you allow that ball in and to allow him to have him to have two touches in there, and it was good touches to be fair, and to get the shot off was great.
But as you said earlier, they had plenty of chances, didn't they? James Maddison came so close to getting one back just after that third Napoli goal.
Yeah, and he anticipates this very well. Takes a great touch, and I thought the defender gets back at him, but he doesn't. He actually has a really good chance, and I can't say anything other than he should have scored there. And someone of his ability and his strengths is finishing.
And the form is in as well. He's in good form as well.
Yes,
I think, as Emile says, he should score that.
And it wasn't just that one in the second half. There were chances he really felt they should have scored more than two.
They got himself in some fantastic position, didn't they? This was on Vardy. Just, he tries to lob the goalkeeper there, goes for the far post, but gets it all wrong. This is the chance, isn't it, for Maddison, as Emile says, for a great first touch. He's got to score that. And then so many chances, Emile.
Yeah, look, they're getting into a bit of the ascendance here, and this is the one from Daka, great touch. Vardy fires it, he says that the goalkeeper got a touch on there. But it was just one chance after another. Bertrand gets in here, and I thought Daka could have done a bit more here. Go and make a run in there, go and make a real good run into the near post, give him the option. Again, another great touch from Daka here. ᴍᴏᴀ takes a touch, but touch gets away from him and he slips. And it was just one touch, one thing after another, one chance after another where they were actually... And this was another one right at the end where Jamie Vardy... And yet, if you're wanting anyone in that position there, you're wanting Jamie Vardy to really be in that position to have and he gets too much on it. A little nick there would... I think Maka spoke about it in the commentary there. Even if he missed it, it might have swung in at the far post, but gets too much on it.
And there are mitigating factors, 7 players missing through COVID and illness, but against a depleted Napoli side as well, with the team Brendan Rodgers still was able to put out tonight, they had more than enough to win it.
Yeah, as we said, I think that's probably one of the strongest teams Leicester have played in this competition. It was Vardy's first start. Probably 9 players who would start in the Premier League. OK, they missed a few, but so did Napoli. Let's make no mistake about that. So the group, to finish third in that group, Legia, Warsaw, Spartak Moscow. That's not... Listen, I'm disappointed myself and Emile because we follow Leicester in the Europa League. So, yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers will be disappointed as well. And
UMass gave Napoli an early lead, didn't they? So they got off to a terrible start. They had a really good chance in the 3rd minute, but then it was Napoli went up the other end and had the ball in the net. Yeah,
and this ball into Tielemans here was a difficult ball, and they were on the front foot and just nicked the ball off him. And then you're looking at here a great touch from UMass, step over, and it was a bit similar to Harvey Barnes' in the first leg. And UMass is there on the front foot there, just getting in that space and hangs out here because he knows that everyone's gone into the middle. Step over, and there's nothing Schmeichel can do there. Goes through the defender's leg and into the bottom corner. And this was 2-0 for Napoli, Robbie. Yeah, Bertrand playing everybody onside. Football, when you have the ball is all good. But when you haven't got the ball, it's about the desire, anticipating things, running back towards your own goal. Bertrand can see right across the line there. It's poor defensive play, so deep. He steps up, it's offside. But Leicester without the ball defensively, again, I don't think we're good enough tonight. And will it hurt them even more, Emile, do you think, the fact that they fought back in that first half to get it to 2-2 and had it back in their control at that point? Yeah, 100%. Again, it was great to see that fight, that desire to fight back, because it could have been given up. They could have gave up after 2-0, but they fought back. They got a goal here from a free kick. Jamie Vardy misses the first connection, but that was Johnny Evans' fantastic finish there. But he was alive and alert to get that finish. Yeah, we spoke about them conceding from free kicks before the game, but then they got the second from another set piece. Yeah, I'd be really pleased with that ᴍᴏᴀ. He just guides it into that far corner. Great technique for any youngster watching. Watches the flight of the ball all the way, guides it in. And that was 2-2, and you're thinking, right, start the second half, start fast, but then, Napoli scored, and
again, I think we're both disappointed. You know, we're not going to see Leicester with some big teams as well, from dropping down from the Champions League, you know, into the Europa League, and great nights they've had at the King Power European football. But, you know, are Leicester a European team? Well, they've proved that for the last couple of seasons, but
they want to be a consistent Europa League team, or pushing for the Champions League every season.
Yeah, I think they do, and they've got the manager, but the manager needs his best players on the pitch at all times, and I think that's the difference. Their budget, you know, as I said earlier, probably is mid-table in the Premier League, you know, so they're overachieving, but that tonight, to go out of that group, is not good enough, I don't think.
Well, we'll be hearing from the manager, hopefully, when we come back. A disappointing night in Naples for Brendan Rodgers and Leicester. They've lost 3-2 to Napoli and are heading in the new year into the Europa Conference League, where they'll face a playoff. More to come next.
It's basically an average of 2 against a game. How do you solve that? What do you have to do? Go back to basics? Is it a change in personnel, formation? How do you...
Well, I think we've done that. I think it's there's a lot of naivety in our team, a lot of young players, and obviously it's been a bigger demand for them this season. So I think, listen, we've played a number of systems and shapes. Individually, it comes down to being able to have that mentality to track a runner and go with a runner or stop a cross, and that can be in whatever shape it is. So yeah, but it's my responsibility to find that solution. Like I said tonight, good offensively, but it's nowhere near good enough defensively.
Let's touch on that positive offensively. Really good reaction to going 2-0 down. When you got back to 2-2, did you sense it could be another Moscow and you could come back and win the game? Yeah,
it was up to the players if we could. We just tighten up the gaps and do that dirty side of the game. Like the first goal, we should have went in front, and then they virtually with the first attack in the box they score. So we got to do more to block the shot. You've got to be more aggressive. You've got to throw your body there to stop the shot. And then, like I say, the third goal, the second goal, we jump at the wrong times, and that opens up the space. And then the third goal, you got to track the runner, and then when you do, you got to stop the cross. And these are the basics of the game that we aren't doing so well. So, but the goals, yeah. The first goal with Johnny, we stay alive to it, and he finishes it well. Kieran, delighted for him because he's come into the team and done very, very well. And again, for likes of him, it's a new experience, and playing against a really good side. But the third goal, like I said, we give away. It was a really cheap goal. We had big chances as well in the second half. James is a huge chance, you know, that he'll be disappointed with. And other opportunities when we were there, but no, we didn't defend well enough ultimately.
Historically, European campaigns are fairly rare in Leicester's history. Can you go on and win the Conference League? Are you aiming to do exactly that?
Well, I'm not even thinking. I've got to be honest. I don't even know what the competition is. In all fairness, I was focused on the Europa League, winning this group, at the very least finishing second. So, with all due respect to the competition, I'm not sure what it is. So, but I'm sure I'll find out soon enough.
And finally, Newcastle coming up at the weekend. How important is that match?
Very, very important. We, like I said, our offensive side of the game has been bright, and we look like we can create goals and score goals. But no, you have to defend much better than we are. And like I say, we need to return to having that real solidity in the team in every aspect, and being really hard to beat. And then that's always your basis, and we need to get back to that.
Thanks, Brendan.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, Brendan Rodgers doesn't even know what the Europa Conference League is, but someone's going to have to hand him a guide to that very quickly, Emile, because they've got a playoff game in that competition in February to get into the competition. You could see just how disappointed he is to be heading out of the Europa League.
Yeah, and you expect him to be disappointed, but I like his honesty. I love the fact that he didn't mince his words with actually competing. Football can be easy at times. It can be complicated where you put shapes and you put formations, etc. But you've got to follow runners, you've got to be able to tackle, you've got to be able to challenge, you've got to be able to win 1v1 challenges, stop crosses. And that's what he was honest about. It's easy when you do it that way.
he maybe needs to have a quick call with Antonio Conte just to see how tough it's actually been for Tottenham as well in that competition.
Yeah, well, they're going to be in it now, but you can see how angry he was, you know, because he keeps mentioning about desire, running back towards your own goal without the ball. And Emile was right when he said about tracking runs, the third goal. You look at ᴑᴏᴛ appealing for offside, you know, the first goal, tracking back, you know, is there enough desire in the team to stop shots, to stop crosses? That's the hard side of the game. That was the side of the game I was good at. And then what I would do, I'd try and get the ball to people like Emile, you know, to go and do the great stuff in the attacking areas. But, you know, I don't think Leicester tonight have had so many players. Listen, I'm not saying I was a good player. What I'm saying is I could tackle, I could run, and I could do the stuff for the team. Have Leicester got enough players right at this moment in time doing that?
He talked about basics there as well, you know, not doing the basics right. Does it feel to you watching that the players are testing his patience now?
Look, I think your patience will be tested at times when you're seeing so many things going wrong. And offensively, you keep saying that they're fine. They're creating chances. They're taking certain chances, but they're getting in them areas. It's defensively and shutting up passing lanes. It's actually being aggressive in and around, because, again, you've got to get close to people. Anyone you give time on the ball, they can do whatever they want. Yeah. They can be world beaters. So you have to get tight to people and put people under pressure.
Well, let's try and help Brendan Rodgers out a little bit and have a look at the teams who are left in the Conference League. These are the teams that they could face in the playoffs. The ones on the left, the ones they could face, except Tottenham. They can't play a team from their own country at the moment. So ᴠᴏᴞ there, who caused Roma lots of problems earlier in the competition. Familiar names as well in Karabakh, Slavia Prague, Union Berlin as well, possibly Robbie. Anyone specifically they're going to want to avoid?
Well, the final, I can see it right there. Wouldn't it be great? Leicester Celtic. Hey? Wouldn't it be great that could happen, can't it? No.
Possibly, eventually.
Do we know?
Well, if not in the playoffs, but it could eventually.
Could be a final, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be a great final.
How do you want them to approach it, though, Emile? Do you want them to go out and try and win this, or to be focusing on the Premier League?
When you're in any competition, you want to go out and focus on winning it. At the end of the day, yes, the Premier League is the main objective, to get up high up that table and be challenging for Europa League and Champions League. But if you're in the competition, you don't just throw it away. You've got to be challenging.
I guess it depends where they are in the Premier League as well, because you can get into the Europa League by winning that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point now. Yep. If they're, you know, come in February, if they're like bottom half of the table, you know, why not play a strong team?
OK, well, let's quickly hear from Johnny Evans to see what he made of tonight's result.